Took you long enough. Just remember, once you're in, there's no way out. I'm Richie, and this is my new channel. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell to get all the latest updates. Before we start the video, just know that this story is part of a series, a full-on narrated tale. I'm pretty sure you're gonna love it, because it's packed with creepy and thrilling events, all about the other world. I'm gonna tell this story like it actually happened to me, and without wasting your time with a long intro, let's jump straight into it. It was the mid-70s. My parents had already been married for 7 years. And finally, I was about to be born into this world. From what my mom told me later on, my birth brought so much joy to the whole family. She said I came out smiling, no crying, no screaming like most babies, just smiling. Let me give you a quick glimpse of my childhood. I was born in Saudi Arabia, but before I even turned 1, we moved to the States so my dad could finish his studies and get his master's degree. So yeah, I grew up surrounded by a Western culture. The very first language my ears ever heard and understood was English. I pretty much stayed in the US until I was around 6 years old. That's when my dad finally got his degree, and we had to move back to Saudi. Coming back felt like hitting a wall. Everything was different. The language, the culture. I couldn't even say one proper sentence in Arabic. I felt like a stranger in my own home country, but it was okay. I eventually picked up Arabic, hearing it at home, at school, on the streets. And since I came from a well-known family in that area, I was constantly around people. From an early age, I was exposed to different thoughts, beliefs, and opinions. Maybe that's what shaped me. Maybe that's why I always felt like my mind was older than my age. And my best friend back then, that would be the TV. If you were looking for me during any free moment, I'd be in front of the screen. That box was like a window to the world, and through it, my memories of America stayed alive. Until that one day, the day everything went blank, the screen went dark, my world disappeared. I wasn't the kind of kid who played outside all day or ran around knocking on neighbors' doors. I didn't really have hobbies. So I waited desperately for my dad to come home from work. As soon as he walked in, I ran up to him begging, "Please, please fix the TV. Bring back the window to my world." Eventually, I convinced him to take it to the repair shop. And I sat there waiting, expecting him to come back holding that magical screen in his hands. But when he walked in, he said it needed at least 3 days to get fixed. 3 days? What was I gonna do for 3 whole days without it? I started searching, digging through the house for anything that could fill the gap the TV left behind. I looked under the closet, above the fridge, everywhere. And then, my feet led me upstairs. There was this door I never noticed before. Can you believe that? Me, so obsessed with the TV, had no idea we even had this room. And behind that door was a whole other world. I opened it, and the only way I can describe how I felt is like I'd found treasure. Not exaggerating. My little treasure was my dad's library. Everything he'd collected from around the world. Books, magazines, old newspapers, classic music records. Right in the middle of the room was this big wooden desk, the kind you'd find in meeting rooms, and sitting on top of it, that classic spinning globe we all know. And there was this huge old leather chair beside it. I felt betrayed, honestly. How did we have all this at home and I never knew about it? But in that moment, it felt like the whole world was suddenly in my hands. Most of the stuff there, the books, the records, were in English. And that pulled me in even more. I finally created my own little world. I'd sit on that big chair, play some soft classical music, and read, just read. And in those moments, I felt like I was back in my old American life, living in that culture again, without ever leaving my home. I know that kids my age wouldn't have cared at all. Just a bunch of dumb books, right? They already run away from their school textbooks, So how could they ever be interested in reading stuff that's way outside their culture, in a language they barely understand, and way too deep for their little brains? But me, I just kept reading, book after book, non-stop. I didn't even notice the time flying. Believe it or not, 3 days passed and the TV got fixed, but I had completely forgotten about it. I was hooked, lost in a whole new world. I stayed like that until I finished elementary school. Honestly, school stuff was just boring for me, so my grades were pretty average. Not because I was dumb, but because I just didn't care. And yeah, that kind of messed up my school relationships too. I tried to fit in, but kids' conversations were just too dumb for me to even bother with or waste my brain on. Don't get me wrong, I'm not antisocial. Actually, I'm naturally outgoing. Years went by, and I kept living with a mindset totally different from the people around me. Reading from my dad's library played a huge role in shaping who I became. I don't really know how to explain it, but you could say my brain hit puberty way earlier than it was supposed to. There was a clear gap between my age and how I thought. I started trying to blend into society, even though some people would criticize me anytime I shared my thoughts. Like they'd say Einstein was dumb just because he was Jewish. What does being Jewish have to do with intelligence? No one knows. Basically, anything that didn't fit into the ideas they were programmed with was seen as blasphemy. And then, during one of my usual boring days, something totally unexpected happened. Something that flipped my life upside down, like a full 180. I couldn't tell anyone about what I went through, so I decided to write it down here and share it with you in this video. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. What happened to me is honestly hard for anyone to believe, and I get it. Even I couldn't find a logical explanation for it, and we're living in the age of the internet and unlimited information. Just to be clear from the start, I'm not here asking you to believe or disbelieve me. I'm just telling my story. Think of it as a personal journal or biography. If you want to believe me, great. If not, no hard feelings. I stumbled into the world of jinn through a book I had no idea about, and ever since, I haven't been able to get out of it. That was just a simple intro to a story that can only be described as insane. We'll meet again in the next video, where the real beginning of my story kicks off. It'll drop as soon as this one hits 500 likes. So hit that lovely like button. See you soon.